Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything, Houston born and raised, H-Town ran with Space Cadet Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, folks of all stripes, and distinguished guests, put your hands together for the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Houston, we have Paul Salazar Jr.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast, your Houston sports podcast for diehard Houston sports fans. From a diehard Houston sports fan, I'm Paul Salazar Jr., your favorite diehard Astros fan podcaster. I'm an actor, improviser, writer, creative multi-hyphenate, and of course, and most importantly, I'm a proud Houston native, and I have the receipts to prove it. I am an evangelist for kolaches. I am always on the hunt for a kolache when I'm out here in Los Angeles. They pretty much don't exist. At least not good, so I'm always looking for kolaches, especially when I'm back in Houston. You know, I've spent the last decade or so as a comedy writer in Los Angeles, and now, obviously I'm podcasting. That's what happens when you hit 10 years out here. You start absent-mindedly calling it The 10 instead of I-10, and you start podcasting. Welcome to said podcast. Space Cadet Sports started as a passion project because most media is infuriating as a diehard long-term fan of the Houston Astros and your other Houston sports teams. Here we aren't doom and gloom casual fans, or worse, the national media haters and avoiders. We love our teams and root them on, but also try to discuss the ins and outs of them without too much homerism. The key word here, of course, is try. On today's episode, we're back to Paul's picks, folks. You've heard of Jimmy the Geek. I'm butchering my own jokes here. Goodness gracious. Somebody get a better performer in here. Look, you've heard of Jimmy the Greek. We'll get ready for Paulie the Geek. That's right. We are picking all of the winners for NFL Week 10. This is the moment I'd like to remind you that this is a comedy podcast. Definitely not putting myself in a position of authority when it comes to picking the picks for your Pigskin Pick'em League. Don't lose your league and blame me, folks. This is we're supposed to laugh at this. We can compare and contrast how we're doing in Pigskin Pick'em. I'd like to welcome returning listeners and welcome new listeners to what my brothers call the Paul Broad Pod Ball Blog. Hey, brothers. Shout out to my brothers. Shout out to Arrested Development fans. Shout out to Joe Jacobs. We have another subscriber on the Substack. If you are going to be a subscriber on the Substack this season, I've decided I'm going to give you a little shout out. Unless you tell me, please don't shout me out. Don't shout me out. I don't like the attention. I'm shy. Shout out to all the subscribers on the Substack. That's spacecadetsports.substack.com. Check that out for the full blog experience, or the full blog experience, depending on your interpretation of my mumbles here. We've done our vocal warm-ups. We're recording this transmission here in sunny Los Angeles, where I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and co-producer, the Roz to my Frasier. Carla, the dog, is here with me. She is sitting right next to me right now. She is huffing and puffing and wanting belly rubs at this moment. Longtime listeners of the podcast know that she's got the hot takes on this podcast. She may get on mic from time to time. I've got the cool reactions to the hot takes out there. Carla's got the hot takes proper. Yeah, she needs belly rubs right now. What a silly goose. Why do you need belly rubs? I told you we were recording the podcast. She is very sassy today, but let's get to it. Good day, mates, to all my listeners. Let's get to picking the winners here this week in NFL Week 10. Tonight's game, we're actually recording this on a Thursday this time. Look, life is coming at me fast right now, folks. I have a lot of spinning plates, okay? Last week, I thought it was Thursday when I was recording a podcast on a Wednesday. Now I'm not even sure if it was last week. Look, folks, I don't know. Look, I need a personal assistant. I do this podcast out for the love of the game. that means sometimes when life is got a lot of things for me, this podcast, it can be tough to do at times, and I was a little distracted, admittedly. I was distracted, folks. Please forgive me. But this week it is being recorded and released on a Thursday. I won't sound like a fool for getting the day wrong this week. Tonight's game is the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Can't think of Denver without thinking of last week. A tough loss for the Texans that has still got me in my feelings, obviously. But not so much so that I am going to make a foolish choice here. Looking at... There's a mosquito flying around me now. That's going to distract me the rest of this record. All right, this episode's over. This is officially the fly episode of Breaking Bad. I'll try to focus, folks. I apologize. There's mosquitoes in LA now. Hooray. That's great. Folks, the Denver Broncos are favored in this game by 9.5 points. I thought that was a typo. I thought I wrote it down wrong. But sadly, the Raiders, it makes sense. The Raiders are struggling right now. They're 2-6. The Broncos are 7-2. The over/under in this game is 42.5. Folks, we're trying to win our leagues, right? We're trying to do well in Pigskin Pick'em. I'm currently, trying to climb my way out of this hole that I've dug myself into this season, So I want to pick the winners. We're going with Denver. We're not overthinking this. Pobre Raiders. Oof. Not a good season. Going to be a tough Thursday night matchup, I believe. Sorry, Raiders Nation. Moving on to the Sunday games, it's going to be the first game we're talking about here. Obviously, look, I'm a Houston fan, so of course I'm a Texan fan. So we're going to get the Texans game out of the way early, get it out of the way early. But just before the break, we want to talk about the Texans. So Jacksonville at Houston. Houston here is favored. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Jacksonville is favored. Houston is home dogs here, plus 1.5 in this game. The over/under is 37.5, and yeah, I get it. Look, there's no C.J. Stroud in this game. We're going to have backup Davis Mills. The Houston Texans offense hasn't looked that great, even with the first-string quarterback in there. So it seems like there was a struggle to score touchdowns last game. It seemed like it's been a struggle to score touchdowns all season. The Texans are 3-5. The Jaguars are 5-3. But honestly, coming into this game, it's not like the Jacksonville Jaguars are the Colts. It's not like they're setting the world on fire. Sadly, the Colts are doing great. Doesn't feel good. I could have picked any other team, but because I'm a glutton for punishment, I decided to bring up the Colts there. But, that being said, I'm just saying that the Jaguars could struggle in this game. Definitely any team could struggle against this Houston Texans defense who, for what a tough season it's been, we're not able to enjoy the Houston Texans defense that has been doing fantastic this season. We lost, the team lost CJGJ. We thought we were getting a safety in to really help the pass defense. So we lost him. We were worried about what was going to become of the Houston Texans defense and pass defense without him. It is, I believe, the number one pass defense ranked by EPA right now. It's an incredible pass defense. It's an incredible defense, and it's just really, it's really tough that, of course, me, I'm a silver lining guy on this podcast. I say we've elected to be fans of this team. We want to enjoy as much of it as we can. Of course, we're going to be realistic. We're going to complain. I'm not saying shove those motions away. I'm not Joy in Inside Out, telling you only to feel joy. Look, I'm not Joy in Inside Out. A lot of people have claimed this about me, and I just wanted to set the record straight. Okay, I'm not Joy in Inside. I think I'm anxiety and anger with pretending with a joy mask, maybe. I don't know. Look, I don't have time to self-diagnose myself. Look, if you're a therapist and you want to diagnose me, call in. The phone lines are open. It's a reverse Frasier. I'm the anti-Frasier. I have the callers call in to fix my mental health problems. Oh boy, look, this is what happens when your football team is 3-5. I'm like, what am I supposed to be talking about? The Texans, right? I've done like 3 comedy bits. I'm now the anti-Frasier. Welcome to the anti-Frasier podcast. The phone lines are open if you want to help diagnose me. Speakpipe.com/SpaceCadetSports. Folks, call me crazy. Look, we know that mental health diagnoses doesn't mean that somebody is crazy. Look, we know that on this podcast, folks. But you can call me crazy because I'm picking the Texans here. Believe it or not. I gotta support the Texans here. Look, for those of you who say that I'm not, out of all my fandoms in Houston, the Texans are the team that I feel the least homerism for. Here I am trying to get the mojo working for this season. We're 3-5. The whole season isn't completely lost, but we need wins, and I'm hoping that the Texans defense can do something here. I'm hoping that the Texans offense can just score a couple of touchdowns in this game. Please. Please. Oh, man. I don't know, folks. We're going to, with all that being said, I think it's time for a quick break. We'll be right back to get the rest of Paul's picks on the other side of this.
Houston Astros, Houston Texans, Houston Rockets, Houston Dynamo, Houston everything, Houston born and raised, H-Town Rebel Space Cadet Sports.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports podcast. I'm your irreverent host, Paul Salazar Jr., and we're back from break to get to more Paul's picks, where I pick the winners for NFL Week 10. We tally my wins and losses and laugh. We all laugh. Laugh at the clown trying to survive his pigskin pick'em leagues. Folks, this is what comedy's all about, right? Doing terrible picks. It's what Milton Berle was thinking of when he invented comedy, right? Okay, so let's get to it, folks. The next game that we're looking at here is Atlanta at Indianapolis. I'm watching tonight's game, the Thursday night game, right now with Carla, who full disclosure, I took like a 30-minute break in the middle of this podcast here. For you, it was mere seconds, but through the wizardry of podcastery, it feels like it's been a week for me. I don't remember exactly what I was saying. I do know I was spiraling out of control and being tangential. There's going to be more of that, don't worry. So we're looking at Atlanta at Indianapolis. The Indianapolis Colts are favored in this game by 6.5 points. The over-under here is 48.5. And I mean, come on, look. There's no doubt about it. I want the Colts to lose this game, but no one in their right mind, I guess. At least I can't pick the Colts to lose because I'm trying to win my sleeper league, and I am in a hole. We're going with the Colts here. I mean, come on, Atlanta. We want you to win, but I just, the Colts have been good this season. We're picking the Colts at home, and try not to be too sad about it. Moving on to the next game, we have the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets. The Jets are home dogs here, plus 2.5 at home. 38.5 is the over-under in this game. I mean, can we just call the game? They don't have to play. It's cool. Like, don't stress on this one. No one wants to see it. I mean, obviously, you can't pick the Jets. It hurts. But that's just the way the Jets season has been. You go with the Cleveland Browns in this situation, and you don't watch the game. You watch the recaps. Folks, I'm sorry. Apologies to all Browns and Jets fans. Moving on, Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. And Miami Dolphins are huge home dogs here, plus 8.5 at home. 50.5 is the over-under. I mean, you're choosing Buffalo here. We're not going to be cute. Okay, look. I'm a grown man now. I can't be cute. We're not going to try to be cute. We're picking Buffalo. And, I mean, here lies Miami's season. Is this the final nail in the coffin? The Dolphins are 2-7 right now. I mean, look, the Jets are 1-7. Yeah, Carla agrees. The Jets are much worse, but we don't say that too much about the Jets because we didn't have that much. We didn't have much hope for them this season. The Dolphins, on the other hand, we did anticipate them taking a step back, but we knew that this was kind of the end of the road for the coaching staff there potentially. I do not look. I'm no prognosticator. I'm no Nosferatu. Okay, I'm no Rasputin. Okay, I'm no drunk uncle. Okay, but I am saying that I think there might be some heads rolling after this game. Picking the Bills and moving on. The next game here is New England at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is favored at home by 2.5. The Patriots are 7-2. The Buccaneers are 6-2. Sorry. Bucks are favored in the game. The over/under is 48.5. But what year is it? Why am I feeling the strong urge to pick the Patriots and not overthink it? The Patriots are back to being a dynasty, ? I hate to see it, ! But we are picking the Patriots in this one. We are picking the underdogs here. It's the second underdog picked after Houston. I haven't been picking a lot of underdogs. Could this be Carla's dog of the week? That's right, folks. If you're new to the podcast, each week I pick Carla's dog of the week, the underdog. And, of course, we go with Paul's pick of the week, the pick of that I feel the most confident about. I don't always have a Carla's dog of the week because, honestly, she doesn't like the branding of it. She's like, you're making me out to be a loser. But we'll see if that's Carla's dog of the week. Moving on to the next game, we have the New York Giants at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are favored at home, -4.5. 47.5 is the over/under. Bear is one of my nicknames for Carla, so her ears are just ringing right now. Look, I don't trust these Giants, obviously. The Chicago Bears are a team on the rise. You pick the Bears. It seems to be an easy choice. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens at the Look, I did my tongue twisters like 2 hours ago. Now I'm a mushmouth. I apologize. At the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings are home dogs here, +4.5. Over/under is 49.5. And look, Baltimore is 3-5. But Baltimore's 3-5 is a complete stark contrast to Houston's 3-5. I've even felt good about the Vikings at multiple times this season. But this is a Baltimore game to win. You're picking the Ravens and you feel pretty good about it. And we move on to this next game that I don't think too many people are feeling good about outside of Carolina maybe. The New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are favored in this game, -5.5. The over/under is, sorry about that, lost my place, 39.5. I mean, congrats to the Panthers, I guess, for this line here. This is a big victory, but it is against the Saints. These are two teams that nobody's too fired up about right now. You're picking the Panthers because they just aren't that much better on paper, but you're like, dang, yikes, tough season for Saints fans. Moving on to the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. I've been talking about so many different sports. I'm trying to remember this is football, trying not to say other teams. Look, the Seahawks are favored at home, -6.5. Over/under's 45.5. And Seattle has been for real this season. They are on a good tear. These are both teams at some point in the season I was feeling pretty good about. I was like, I think these teams are on the rise. I was right about Seattle. I was completely wrong about the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are falling rapidly in their stock around the league, and the Seahawks have been rising. We're going with the Seahawks here. I think those sentiments are real, and we're moving on to the next game. The next game is the Detroit Lions at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are favored here. Are home dogs. I apologize. I was saying that, and I was like, there's no way that's real. +8.5. Washington Commanders +8.5 at home. 49.5 is the over/under. At some point we were thinking the Commanders were a team on the rise. I'm not trying to talk too too loudly. The Texans were a team on the rise, even in a tier above these teams that, we've been talking about. So it happens. You take steps forward, you take steps back, but unfortunately this Washington team does not look like it's on the same level as the Lions organization at this moment. We're going with Detroit. I'm not pandering to my in-laws. We're going with Detroit. Moving on to the next game. The Los Angeles Rams at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers here are home dogs. Rams are favored. Of course, plus 4.5 for the 49ers at home. 4.5, sorry. Plus 4.5 for the 49ers at home. There's so many numbers I'm saying. That's why. And 49.5 is the over-under. That's why I'm confusing myself. There's so many numbers. What are all these numbers flying around my head for? Look, I forgot the team was named a number. Okay, it happens. It happens. I promise. It's normal. The Rams are the number one team in so many power rankings. The Rams have looked really good. We've played both of these teams, and I feel from the experience of watching both of these teams, I feel good about the Rams winning this one. We're picking the Rams here. The 49ers have had a tough season, have played admirably, but I think the Rams are just more of a complete deal right now as it stands. The last game on Sunday is Pittsburgh Steelers at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2.5 in this game. The over-under is 44.5. I felt pretty solidly about Pittsburgh a lot, but in this matchup against the Chargers, I feel like the Chargers are slowly out-Pittsburghing Pittsburgh. Like, I feel like they're a sneaky good team that are kind of coached up all the time, that will be fairly solid, even if they're struggling. And I maybe it's just that I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I'm turning my back to my traditional Steelers feelings and placing them on the Chargers. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's just how I feel. So I'm picking the Chargers. I feel really good about it. But I normally don't feel this good about picking against Pittsburgh. But that's how I feel, folks. I don't know. Moving on to the last game here. Monday night game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is favored in this game by 2.5. The over-under is 45.5. Look, I kind of want to stay away from this game, I'm going to be honest. We have to pick all of them, so I can't stay away. But this one just seems tricky. Both of these teams have had some success. Both of them have faltered at different times. I do feel better about picking Green Bay out of the two, but I don't feel so strongly. This is like my biggest game to stay away from. I don't know. This feels like it could even be a coin flip. I don't know. People from Philly, people from Green Bay. Is that right? Do you feel that too? Do you feel more strongly one way or the other? I don't know. I'm picking Green Bay, but I am not too sure about it. Honestly, yeah, we're looking at Green Bay is 5-2-1. The Eagles are 6-2. I don't know. I don't know. I think, let's dig in a little more here. It's like I think when we look at Green Bay here, I'm trying to look at Green Bay. So, their last couple of games here, obviously losing to Carolina is going to have me lose a lot of faith in you. Tying to Dallas just didn't feel right, but they have been winning a lot of games outside of that. The Eagles, on the other hand, their two losses have come to Denver and the New York Giants, which was surprising. That just losing to the Giants, that's why you're suspect. That's it. I mean, they did beat the Giants more recently, of course, but I guess that's just why I'm so skeptical of them. But let's look at the Sleeper app. Let's see how I've been doing. Let's take a quick look at last week, week 9. Look, I didn't get double-digit wins, okay? I was close. 9-5 on the week, 64% correct. I got the Minnesota-Detroit game wrong. I think all of us got that one wrong. I also got the Green Bay-Carolina game wrong. I mean, look, Even people from Carolina, I'm sure you got that one wrong too. And of course, I picked Houston, so I got that one wrong. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And I picked against the Colts. Well, I picked the Colts to beat Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh won that one. And goodness, the losses just keep rolling, folks. I picked the Cowboys. The Cowboys lost to the Cardinals. So yeah, not a good feeling. Really felt like I could have got double-digit wins there. Not the best feeling in the world. Overall, in the pool, I am 76-59 on the season. On the podcast for my picks, I'm a little bit better than that. I'm just throwing that out there. This is just for the picks that I actually set. I had 1 week where I struggled to set my picks in a timely manner. I took L's on all the morning games, and that was frustrating. So that affected my record. That's why I'm 9th when I maybe would be like tied for 6th or something. I don't know. Like, truthfully, it has not been the best season. But this is why it's a comedy, folks. These are the jokes. For those of you who've been following along, Sarah, my lovely fiance, is still beating me in this league. She has 86 points on the season. She's tied for 3rd, so she's having a great season. And the secret to her success, I believe, is not listening to the podcast. I told her I made that joke on the podcast because I was worried she wouldn't listen and not know that I'm teasing her. But she was like, "Hey, I listen, don't listen all the time." So maybe that's her secret. She always downloads episodes. She's rated and reviewed the podcast. She's given us a 5-star rating wherever she listens. But she only listens sporadically, or she puts it on like the 1.5 and just kind of tunes me out. So that's the secret. You support the podcast, but you don't have to actively engage or take my advice. Okay, folks? We're hoping to get better in the league. But unfortunately, for those of you who've been following along with the Fantasy League 2, my Thunder Bears League with my friends from theater school, usually I dominate this league. Usually, I've been doing fantastically historically in this league and in fantasy football. And folks, I'm having probably the worst fantasy football season I've had to ever in the history of me playing fantasy football. It's tough. I'm now 3-6 on the season. I am struggling, folks. I am on the receiving end of some tough losses, of some close losses, but I honestly, I can't just put it all on that. I have had some of those losses because I did not start one player that I probably could have started. I don't think it's my drafts problem. I think I'm just running into some bad luck. I think I'm running into a couple of start-sit problems that have caused some of those losses. But folks, this season's not looking good for your boy. It might be the first time in the history of me playing fantasy football that I'm on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoffs. Truthfully, honestly, all truth being said, I think I missed the playoffs one other time in the history of me playing fantasy football. But I seriously don't know what's going on in this world. I don't know what's going on. It's nuts. It doesn't make sense. Folks, let's also talk about the Rockets and the Astros before we wrap up this podcast. The Houston Rockets beat the Memphis Grizzlies last night. Let's see if I can pull that up. 124-109 in that game in Memphis. We went and saw our good friend Jock Landale, who's playing center for the Grizzly now. It was a pretty dominant game throughout. I believe, the Grizzlies won the second quarter in points, but the Rockets were able to just kind of drive that game from the beginning. Kevin Durant is just looking amazing in his time with the Rockets. He only had 11 points in this game, but he had just an efficient game. He had an impactful game. He had 11 points in 34 minutes with 4 rebounds and 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Jabari Smith Jr. was also looking really good out there. He had 16 points in this game, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Alperen Sengun looking amazing, 20 points, 16 rebounds and 7 assists. Amen Thompson had 28 points in this game with 10 rebounds and 7 assists, coming close to some triple-double numbers there. And Josh Okogie maintaining his spot in the starting rotation, kind of the P.J. Tucker of the season, if you will. Tari Eason also playing significant minutes as a sixth man off the bench in this game. There was no Steven Adams, but you had Clint Capella in there playing the big man role off the bench. It was good to see. Honestly, this Rockets team is for real. It's good to see them just firing on all cylinders, taking so many 3-point shots, just as a team, just really killing it. Let's look at the team statistics here. From 3-point, they were 13 for 30 for 43.3%. Folks, you love to see it. And your Houston Astros officially have a new hitting coach. Oh, by the way, the Rockets are on a 5-game winning streak. No big deal. Houston Astros get a new hitting coach from the San Diego Padres organization. And yeah, we'll see, folks. Big news. Framber Valdez also got a qualifying offer. That's not the big news. The hitting coach is the big news, but we expected the Astros to extend that qualifying offer. But we'll see. And most likely, he is headed directly to free agency. And with that being said, that's going to do it for this transmission, Space Cadets. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, share, bop it, kick it, skip it, smash all of those buttons for me. /S, by the way, that's sarcasm if you didn't know. Look, we're a small podcast and only go as far as our listenership takes us. So even if you think I mean it sincerely, just hit buttons for me. We are supported by listeners like you. So please share with the Houston fan or Australian in your life and give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen. Remember, that's your secret to success in this Pick'ems league that you're in. Listening to the podcast, it's half listening. You don't have to take my advice, but give us a 5-star rating and download and listen to the podcast. Reach out on social media. Let me know if you're doing better than me this season in your Pick'em League at Space Cadet Sports, or you can call in and let me know what you think of the Houston Rockets this season. That's at speakpipe.com/Space Cadet Sports, or you can make a comment on the Substack. Join that growing community is what I'm trying to say. SpaceCadetSports.substack.com, where you can be a subscriber, get all 99% of the posts for free, or you could be like Joe and be a premium subscriber, help pay the bills around here, help me get better diction coach, help me get better equipment and treats for Carla. Thanks so much for that. You could also, if you want to support but you don't want to subscribe to the Substack for whatever reason, you could get some merch. Merch is here. On the website, we have Don't Sleep on Houston shirts. We have Carla the Dog hats and H-Town Blue. That's on Paul Salazar Jr., paulsalazarjr.net. Because I'm nothing but net, and if you made it this far, you must like me on some kind of level. So if you want to find more of me making weird jokes, art, podcasts, and so much more, find me on social media at paulsalazarjr, or go to that website, paulsalazarjr.net, where you can find my other Substack, my comedy writings, all the other silliness that I do, if you're nasty. Thanks so much for listening. Remember to be the best that you can be. Keep your head up, kid. And as always, vamos Houston.